What's up, Foxy people? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing what turned into a Cricut series. So part 2 of a Cricut series, the basics. Today's video is about a walkthrough of the machine and how to use Design Space. It is the software that you need to use with Cricut. I know when I started using my machine, I had to watch a ton of videos to learn all the little steps, and it just seemed very overwhelming to me. So hopefully this video can help you out so that you can get right into your projects and not have to feel so overwhelmed. Okay, so let's get into the walkthrough. So like I said, I have the Explorer Air 2. The two Explorer machines as well as the Maker pretty much look the same as this. The Maker does have a couple alterations, but they all pretty much look like this. And they will all come with these two cords, the USB cord that connects to your computer, as well as the adapter, the power adapter. Now the Explorer Air 2 and the Maker do have the capability of connecting through Bluetooth, but you do get the USB connection just in case the Bluetooth isn't working or whatever the case is. So you just have a power button up here. This dial, you choose which material you're working with, paper, vinyl, iron-on. And then if it's not on the dial, you just go to custom and a whole drop-down menu will pop up on your computer. The Maker does not have this dial. You just go do everything straight from the computer. So the arrow is to load your mat. That Cricut logo is to cut, and then pause if you need to pause your project in between a cut. In here, it's just a little storage unit for pens and whatnot. And then this little compartment is for those physical cartridges. If you have any of the older Cricut machines, they had actual physical cartridges that you would use. Now it's all digital, but if you do have any of the older ones, you can use them in this machine. Now with the Explorer Air 2, I have these two ports. The Explorer Air 1 only has one. The Maker has two as well. So the one houses the blade that cuts everything. You can just take it out, and if you have to sharpen it or replace it, it's really easy to change out. The second port, well, I guess it's the first port, is what holds the pen and scoring tool or any other tools and accessories that come with it. The Explorer Air 1, it will only have one port. So if you are using the writing tool or the scoring tool, you would actually have to take out the blade, throw in the pen, and then vice versa when you're ready to cut. It is super easy though. So you just pop in the pen, do the work, and then open the flap and pop it back out. It is super simple. Okay guys, so this is what you will see on the front page after you sign in and make an account and whatever. So the machine's up there. I have the Explorer. These are your projects. I'm going to touch on that in just a minute. On this front page, you will see a whole bunch of projects that you can do. They'll give you like tutorials and walkthroughs on how to make these specific kinds of designs and crafts if you're interested. That is, if you don't want to like make your own from scratch. I'm not going to go through all these. You can scroll through them. There's hundreds of different cards and whatnot, so you can decide on your own which ones you want to look through. So if you click on one of them, you'll see it has a title, a description of what the card is, finished size, materials you'll need. You can print all of this out. Preparation, how to do it. It's like a step-by-step, kind of like a recipe, right? So step-by-step on how to make this specific card. Down at the bottom, you see what images and fonts are used in this card. This one you would have to pay $1.99 to get. some projects are offered with Cricut Access if you have that subscription, and some aren't. So this one, because it doesn't have an A, you do have to pay the $1.99 no matter what. This one over here, see the A? It will, if you have the Cricut Access subscription, that one would be free for you to use. So over here on like the left side menu, you have information about your specific machine and account. So view profile. If you saved a project to share, this is where it would pop up. I haven't, so I don't have any there. But so then you would home, you just go back to that home screen. The canvas, that is the workspace that you would be working on. I'll go to that in a minute. I don't want to keep going back and forth. So new machine setup, if you have a new machine, you would click on that. Calibration, if things are starting to look wonky and like off center, you would recalibrate your machine if you wanted to. Sometimes that helps, sometimes there's actually a problem with your machine. This, honestly, I've never used it. I don't think you need it. I tried to see what it was one time and it just made absolutely no sense. So maybe other people know. Account details would have like your password, any subscriptions that you signed up to, that kind of stuff. Link cartridges, those are from the older machines. They had physical cartridges, whereas now you can download them on your design space. So if you had purchased previous ones, you would click on here and that's how you would add them to your design space. Cricut Access was that subscription I was telling you about. It's about $10 a month, and you get a lot of free fonts and images, and you get like 10% off if you shop on Cricut.com. You get, I think, 1 to 3 free months when you first sign up, and then it's up to you whether you want to continue the subscription. None of these I ever use. If you want to look at them and see, but it's definitely not something that you need to worry about. So up here at the top is just like new ads they have. So this is about the mini press, infusible ink, any new things they have coming up, they'll post up here. And then right below is all of your projects. So I've been doing this for a while. I have a ton of projects in here, but anytime you save a project, this is where they will be. So if you want to go back and reference one or remake one or edit one, that kind of stuff, they're all saved right here. So you can share it, and these 3 dots, if you click on it, you can either edit it or delete it. You just click on it and go back to it. So to start a new project, there's 3 ways. There's that new project plus sign up here at the top where you click on canvas, or new project. Now I had a project on the mat already, so it gives you the option to save, replace it, or cancel it. So usually if it's already saved, you would just click replace to get to a new mat. So this is what your canvas looks like. It will mimic, if you notice, it mimics the cutting mat, right? So everything's in inches. Everything is measured in inches. And it would mimic your cutting mat. If you look at your green, blue, whatever mat, it should look like this. Down at the left-hand bottom, you can zoom in to make it bigger, to make the grid bigger, easier to work with smaller projects and designs. Usually I find the best to be just 100% so that it's more accurate to your cutting mat. So up here you would click new if you wanted to start a new. Obviously I don't have anything going on. So templates. This is used if you want, say you're making a shirt and you want to see how a design would look on the shirt, or candles, camping chairs, anything. They have a ton of templates on there. So as you see at the top, it says they're only for reference. They won't print or cut. As you can see, it's very thin lines, right? It's just a template. Like I said, it's not going to cut. It's not going to print. So it's just to see what a design would look like on the shirt. So you have a front image and a back image. And up here, you can actually choose the size of your shirts. So you can go to like a woman's short sleeve. You can change the size from extra small, small, extra double XL, custom even, if you have a specific size. And if you noticed, it changed my grid, right? It's no longer at 100%. It's now smaller so that you can see the whole design. So it's saying that this size shirt would be about 25 inches long. So then you just go in and make your image. In this tutorial, I'm pretending that I wanted a star on it. So you would just resize it and see what would look right. And this helps you notice what size you need the image. So it's sitting at 8.5 by 8.1 basically. So that's how big you would have to make the star to fit the shirt of that size. Now when I go to make it, as you can see, it's just the star that's going to be cut out. That shirt template is gone. So we're going to go through and just delete all this stuff, because obviously we're not making it. So then the next thing, I'm going to re-image my mat size too. So the next thing on the side is projects. So again, the same thing that it was on that front page, all these projects that you can do with the tutorials. Again, that green A means if you have Cricut access, it is free for you. The ones without the A means that you have to pay no matter what. Up here you can filter through your categories. So there's my projects at the top. If there's any specific theme you want, or you want free ones, or only the ones with Cricut access, or the new infusible ink, and there's all vinyl projects, like there's all kinds of categories you can choose from. So then the next one is images. These are the images that you are going to edit or place on your design. So these are all the ones that are offered by Cricut, again with the Cricut A or the Cricut access symbol. If not, if you don't have Cricut access, those are the prices in the bottom left corner. So 99 cents, $1.99. So if you want to use it, all you would do, there's the information. So who makes it, what the name is, that kind of stuff. Up here in the categories, again, same thing with the projects. You can choose if you want Christmas or anniversary, birthday, any kind of specific category you're looking for. And cartridges, like I said, if you have previous physical ones, you can link them here. If not, you can buy digital cartridges here. And again, a lot of them are basically theme related. And once you buy the cartridge, you have it forever. It's not like it is a one-time payment. It's not like you have to purchase it every time. If you can buy these images separately, or you can buy the whole cartridge. Now up here, if you're looking for a specific item, you can type in the search bar and see what pops up. So those are all the different things that come up when I type in lion. They used to have a Disney cartridge, so that's what I was looking for, and apparently they don't anymore. I don't know if they lost their licensing, but they no longer have Disney themed images. So if you wanted a Mickey Mouse thing, you would have to make it yourself, but keep in mind that anything licensed, you cannot sell. You can make them for yourself, but you cannot sell. So these two off to the side, if you see in the bottom left, they say uploaded. Those are ones that I have created and uploaded into my design space. I was doing it for one of my wedding projects, so those ones are specifically just for me. Like, you wouldn't see them when you went on. And again, you can filter them here with just my images, or just the ones I uploaded, what are free, what are with Cricut access, what you have already bought, that kind of stuff. So there's easier ways to filter through them rather than having to look through everything. I personally don't use any of these images, but that's because I know how to create my own. So of course, the more advanced that you get, you would be able to do the same thing. I do have a video coming that shows you how to use or how to make your own images for Design Space and whatnot. So keep an eye out for that. I will link it in the description box as soon as it's ready. So if you see with this image, it actually has 5 different layers. So when I go to make it, it's going to put all the different colors on a different mat. So Cricut Design Space automatically assumes or automatically puts each different color on a different mat. Basically, they're saying you can't cut multiple colors on one mat because the machine doesn't know how to differentiate the colors, right? So another video I have is going to show you how to cut different colors on one mat, but patience, it's coming. I'm sure you can find something on YouTube if you need to know right now, but that is how this would automatically pop up if this is the image that you purchased. And then you would just have to layer it after you cut everything out. So then the next thing is text, which is pretty self-explanatory if you have like Microsoft Word or anything like that. It's pretty much the same thing. You just would size it differently. So up here you can choose through all kinds of different fonts. There's a ton to choose from. Again, if you notice the little A, free with Cricut Access, or you have to pay that price for that specific font. I do have a video on how to download free fonts and use them in Design Space. And once you download them to your computer, you can actually use them in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, any kind of Word documents. It's not specific to Design Space. So check out that video. I will link that down below as well. It's definitely been a lifesaver with different fonts to use. So up here you would change whether you want it to be cut, draw, or score. So draw is just with a Cricut pen you would use. Cut is being cut out, so like vinyl iron on paper. And score would be with the scoring tool to just score the line in it. So I changed the font because the other one could work as cut or draw. This one you can see how it was like filled in before as cut. Once you change it to, see, it's cut, right? Once you change it to draw, they can't, like the machine can't go back and color in those squares, right? So you would have to do that by yourself, or you would have to find a different font that is specific for writing, or is thinner writing. Again, it completely just does the outline, right? So if that's the look you're looking for, then perfect. If not, you'll have to color it in. So up here, if you click on Cricut, that will filter to the fonts that Cricut offers, whether they're free or you have to pay for them, or they're only with Cricut Access, that kind of stuff. So these, the ones you've downloaded or the ones that automatically come on your computer would not show up in this little filter. You would have to click on System. Now also under the fonts, you see it says multi-layer cutting or writing. Some say single layer cutting. These ones all say single layer cutting. So the ones that say writing and cutting, it means that they can be drawn, like used with the pen, or cut. These ones that say cutting means that it will change if you try and do them with the writing tool, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to type in this this font that I know I have. I've already downloaded it. As you can see, this is the system aspect is highlighted, so that means that these are the ones that are in my computer. So now we're working on shapes. So these are shapes that are offered with Design Space. So let's say we're going to pick a circle. Now you can resize it, and you can resize it in a couple different ways. So there's the rotating. Obviously it doesn't make a difference with the circle. You can resize it by these arrows at the bottom right hand corner. This one is a lock, like you see the little lock. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. So see how you can resize it. You see the size, it's going to be 8 point or 4.8 or whatever, right? If you unlock it, then you can change it to be different widths and heights. Whereas when it's locked as a proper circle, it's going to have the same width and height. So if you want to make this into an oval, basically you would unlock it, change it to the size you want it, and then lock it again so that you don't mess up the size when you're moving it. Same thing, any of the shapes work the same way. So you would unlock it, move it around to how you want it to look, and then make sure you lock it again so that when you are moving it around in your project, it's not gonna change the size again. So upload. These are images that I have uploaded into Design Space and I have put on projects, right? So I can always go back and use them again if I need to. You would just click on Upload Image, browse in your on your computer, find the image, and clean it up. I have another video that shows exactly how to do that, so I'm not going to go into detail here. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a couple more things real quick. So if you were to score this, that's how it would look, and then of course the scoring pen would score it on your paper, usually used for crafting, card making. So if you are drawing it out, you would click on the color. You can change, these are all the different colors that Cricut offers, all the different pen sizes, everything like that would be in there. Change it back to cut, and again you can change the color for what your vinyl is. You don't have to do this. Experienced people don't necessarily always change the color. It's more or less just so that you can see how it's going to look. But it really doesn't make that big of a deal. If you have it as black, but you're cutting it on a blue piece of vinyl, that's okay. The machine's not going to like kick it out or anything. So fill, right now it's filled with a color black. If you want to change it to a pattern, this would really only be for print and cut. If you change it to a pattern and think it's going to cut out that pattern, it's not going to. So you're going to have to do it print and cut. So what would happen is it would print it as if you're printing it like off of Microsoft Word, and then it would cut it out in the design that you have set up. So I just changed that to a pattern. You can't really see it because it's pretty small. And the detail, like the pattern I chose wasn't really detailed, but I'll do it here on the square so that you can see. See that line? It's because I had it at no fill. So you would have to change it to print. See, it says print, and then line type is cut, so it would have to be print and cut. Just keep that in mind. So this pattern wasn't working for me for some reason. Sometimes you just have to, even if you get that pop-up, you can just go back and do it and it would work. So there's that pattern. It would print it and then cut the square and the font out afterwards. You would get, I'll make another video showing how to do print and cut, but basically it would tell you to print it first. It would give you step-by-step on the make it part. It would tell you to send it to the printer and print it, and then it would say to put it in the machine with the blade, and it would cut it out. Now I'm just changing it to a thicker font just to show you. So that one worked a little better. Another cool thing you can do is actually do it with like a picture. So I'm gonna do my family picture from Disney. So it would print it out, it would print the picture out in the shape of those letters, and then you would send it to the machine and it would cut them out. Arrange, just if you want something sent backwards or forwards in front of, like the writing in front of the shape or whatever. Here's the sizing again. Like I said, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So with the arrows, again, you can see the size at the top of the width and the size at the side for the height, or you can change it up here in the size box. You can type in, if you have an image that needs to be a specific size, then instead of fidgeting around with the arrows to make it to that specific size, like say you needed something 1.75, instead of trying to get it on with those arrows, you can just type it up specifically up there. Now, if you have an image that needs to be 9 by 3, if it's not a perfect design, it's not going to do that. You're either, if you change the width to like 9, the height would only be maybe 1.57 or something like that. So you would have to unlock it and change the width and the height to the specific sizes that you need. Sometimes this will distort it and make it look really funny. So then you would have to play around and see the maximum size you can go without it looking real funny. But you would always have to unlock it to make that happen. And then again, lock it up again so that it doesn't alter it when you're moving it around. So the arrow at the top, you can rotate it, or even up here, you can rotate it this way too, by just clicking the arrows. I'd say this is more for like precise movement. That just means where it's positioned on the mat. I've never used that. The font name, style, whether you want it bold or italic or regular. Letter spacing, you bring your letters closer together. This is mainly used for cursive writing. So a lot of the time, cursive fonts, your letters will be with a space in between them, so it doesn't really look cursive because they're not connected, right? So you would use line spacing to bring them closer together, which usually works, but if you can see, I have two different words, and they're actually closer together than some of the letters are. So I don't want that, of course, right? So how I'm going to do that is ungroup it. So now every letter is on its own. And you would just move each letter over to where it's touching. And then you want to highlight the entire word and press group again. So now it's back to one word. And you would weld it to keep it all together on the cutting mat, but I have a different video to show you the difference on that, so I'm not going to get into detail about it. But if you don't weld it when you go to cut it, it is going to cut each letter separately. So then I'm going to do the same thing with this first word, move it all together to where it's touching each other. Select everything and group it together. And then weld. Now I have each word on its own, and I can move them around how I want. One thing I will point out, once it's welded, it cannot be unwelded if you go to a next step. You would have, whereas group and ungroup, attach and detach, weld, there's no unweld. Again, I'll touch on that in a different video, but once it's welded, it's welded. If you have to unweld it, you would have to back up. So if you've already done 10 steps since then, you're going to have to redo everything. And if you've saved it and gotten out of it and then gone back in to fix it, you have to start from the beginning. You cannot unweld it after that. So just be very careful when welding. Curve, pretty self-explanatory. So if you wanted to duplicate, say you have an image that you made, instead of like making another star and resizing it to specific things, like once you have something set, then you can duplicate it there, and then there's delete, or you can just press the X on the top left corner. So again, if you're going to draw the shape, it's not going to color it in. The machine doesn't know how to do that. So it would just do the outline and you would have to color it in yourself. Score line, same thing. This is just for cut, copy, paste. Okay, another thing I want to show. So layers is showing all the different layers you have, right? Up here, color sync is going to show you everything that is in each color. So if you had like 50 different images on your design, this way, if you go to color sync, they will group all the stars that are pink together, all the stars that are blue together, all the writing that is white. If you want to change the coloring of multiple different things, you can do it here by just dragging them into those different color categories rather than clicking on each item and going to change the color. Now, right now, those two things are two different colors, gray and black. The square is gray. And be very careful and pay attention. The shapes, when you pick them from Design Space, they automatically go gray, but they look black. So you might not notice that there's a difference. So because they're two different colors, they're going to send them to two different mats. So you can easily move them. If you get to this page and you realize that they're two different colors, instead of changing, like going back and having to change the color, you can kind of combine them or change the color by just moving that image to the other mat, if that makes sense. This is how you can change your machine. So Design Space knows what machine you're working with. I have the Explorer, so that's what it says. But if you have the Maker, you would change it to the Maker. So now I'm going to change the square to black. So now both of my images are the same color. And I'm going to select everything. Nope. I'm going to make it to show you that now they're all on the same mat, right? They're both the same color. They're all on the same mat. However, they're spread out. So if you have something set up on your canvas and you like the way it looks, and then you go to hit make it and they moved it like this, you can either remove everything the way you want it cut out, or on here, you select everything. So you can either go up here and select all, drag a square over the entire image, click on each image while holding down Command or Control, depending on what computer you're using. And another way is over here on the right hand side. You, while holding down Command or Control, click on each layer that you want selected. So once you have everything selected, you go down here and click Attach, and now everything is combined so that when you go to the Make It screen, it's going to stay exactly how you have it designed. See? It's all together. You don't have to move anything around. You can move it around on the mat if you want it cut in a different area, but you don't have to worry about like all your spacing being messed up. If you just group it together, it's still going to mix it up on the mat, or on the cutting mat. But all these things on the right hand side are going to be talked about in the next video, because they have so many steps to them that I feel like I need to go into more detail, and I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. So check out the next video to find out about welding, attach, contour, group, and all those fun things.
So hopefully that helped you out to have a little better understanding of the actual software of Design Space, as well as the buttons on the machine. Follow along the series. Make sure you're subscribed to follow along on the series. The next video will be part 3. It will be more in-depth into some of the steps in Design Space I felt need more explanation, so I didn't want to throw them into this video. So make sure you're subscribed to follow along. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.